Hello, hello, hello. All right, so today we are going into the weekend, and that is always a trying time in the world of hotels. And so today I wanted to focus on something that became a trend for a period of time and is still somewhat of a trend. I think it is beginning to slack off a little bit, but I wanted to give you all just a little bit of information in regards to um, hotel rooms and having parties or events in those particular rooms. So let's just jump into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is room types and the amount of space that a room can hold. So if you book a hotel room and you book a king, which is just a king suite or a king room, usually the capacity for that room averages at about two people for that particular room. Now, it might have an additional, let's say, sleeper sofa in there, and that two can become four. But usually, that's normally the max, is that it's four people in that particular room. Then we move into a double room, and this could be a double queen room, a double, two full beds, or even let's see what else. That's usually about it. And that room is going to hold for a max of four. Okay. Now, usually based off of fire codes, that is the max for that room. So if that room already has two individual beds in it, more than likely you are not able to put a rollaway or an additional sleeping in that room, because it takes the max occupancy up from 4 to 6, and that is not usually the case. Now, with any of this information, I want you to make sure that you understand that every hotel has its own information. And so if you contact the hotel and they tell you that that room can sleep 6, then you go with the information that you were given by the individual hotel. Okay? Now, with that being said, we've used the numbers 4 and we've used the numbers 6. We've used the number 2. And you want to make sure that you understand what the capacity of that room is. So with that being said, if you decide that you're going to have some type of an event, a birthday party or something like that for a child, and you are going to bring people into the hotel, that's the max of people that should be going into that particular room. That room should not turn into a room. That 4, even if you get 2 connecting rooms that are double beds, those 4 become 8. That 8 does not become 30, plus popcorn machines, decorations, balloons, cakes, food. That is not the capacity for that particular room. And yes, I'm going to be honest and say that is, if you were wanting to have a party and have event space, then you need to contact the hotel and get information in regards to having a birthday party and event space. But if you're utilizing a hotel room, you're going to want to keep to the capacity of that hotel room. And I know that that is not going to make me popular in saying, but that's the truth. That is the capacity of that room. If anything were to happen in that particular hotel room, we would not be able to access it correctly or be able to get your special people out of that room because of the fire codes that are being missed. So that's first. Okay. The second thing is going to be leaving the children in the room. And so most hotels, actually for the most part, all of them, and you can call and find out, there is an age limit of who can check in by themselves. So that means that they must be either 18 or 21. I do not know many hotels that have any numbers lower than that. So if you as an adult come in and sign in a group of children who are 16, and you take them up to the room, and then you leave those 16-year-olds in that room, and the front desk staff becomes aware that these children are in that space alone, you or the person who checked them in is held liable. And various different hotels have various different policies and procedures as to what we do, from calling the police to calling the person whose name is listed on the room and letting them know that they have a period of time to return, or we're going to have to ask that they vacate the premises. So these are things that have come into being due to what has taken place with people having various different events and and sleeping rooms. Okay. So now let's talk about adding a pool party onto this particular event. Okay, so again, if the max people in your room is 4, if the max people in your room is 8, then the whole point of what it is that you need to do, or I'm sorry, the entire point of who goes to the pool with you is the max capacity of your room. So if you have a room that has 2 double beds and you've got 4 people in that room, then those 4 people are the ones that are supposed to go to the pool with you. It is not supposed to be your one room it takes 30 people to the pool and overtakes that pool. In any hotel, in any space period, let's say for instance that I'm having an event and I'm having an unsolicited event, something that the hotel didn't know I was having, and I've got 25 children at the pool, and you've come with your family and you come down to access the pool, and because I have so many people that are in the pool that are not supposed to be there, you and your family are not able to enjoy yourselves because we've overtaken that space. Any public area is supposed to be able to be utilized by all the guests. If you are going to have something of that nature, then you need to speak with the hotel sales department and try to set up something that is individual for just your group, because it becomes very difficult for the hotel to try to apologize for something that isn't supposed to be taking place in the first place, and it turns into a negative energy situation where, one, the person who was hosting this event did not tell the hotel this is incorrect as to what's happening, and you begin to, or this person begins to get very upset and very irate, even though they are absolutely incorrect in how this is being taken place. And so now I've got an irate person who's having an event that they're not supposed to be having, and I've got an irate person who is a guest who is paid, as every other guest has, wants to access the amenities of the hotel and is unable to access them. And you would have to, and I ask you to, take a moment and remove the frustration out of your mind. And I want you to think, if you were on the other side of this particular coin, if you were the guest who was paying upwards of $200 or $300 a night in order to, access the amenities of this hotel, or however much you paid, it really doesn't matter what the number is. The number could be $5. If it's something that you paid out of pocket and you were given the understanding that you would have access to certain things, then you want to have that access, and you will not feel that it is fair if you are not able to have access and somebody has extended or gone into and done something that is absolutely incorrect. And so I do have to put that information out there. We deal with this on a regular basis. Okay. So now let's talk about additional charges. So you've brought 35 people into the room. You've brought birthday cake. You've brought pizza. You've brought all kind of things. And the next day you leave a mess that is unspeakable. One housekeeper is usually assigned to that room. And so when they open the door and they look at the mess that has been left in that room, yes, there is a call that is made to the executive housekeeper or manager on the housekeeping staff. They go to that room, they assess the damage, they take pictures, and then they send that information to the front desk, and the front desk is then responsible for charging you damages if that is exactly what has taken place. And so I also want to make people aware of that, because it begins to turn into a question of, oh, that wasn't the case. When you overfill a room and you destroy that room, meaning that you leave, food everywhere, those are not typical usages of it is not the typical use of a hotel room, and it's not normally the way that it's left. It's not left to those standards, and so that means that that's going to be additional work and additional hours. They might have to call in additional people. Let's say, for instance, that there's cake and food on the floor, because again, these are children that you've brought into this space, and they have, done what children do, and so there's additional cleaning that has to go in to get that ready for the next guest, which means that the hotel might have to take that room off the market, which means that we can't sell it until it's back up to standard. or we have to have a group of people go in and work on that room in order to try to get it back into standard. And at that point, yes, we do attempt to charge the customer who created those particular damages and caused that initial those initial finances. And so again, I want to just be honest and have this conversation. I know for a fact that not many people are having it. So a couple of other things that I do want to add to this is just making sure that if you, as the parent, do check these children in and then you leave, again, your name is on the room, you're held responsible. And so if it's found out that you're not there, at that point, there could be policies and procedures that the particular hotel has in place in order to rectify that situation. I hope that this has been valuable. Again, I know that this is a do's and don'ts, and that does not make the situation a popular one when you are wanting to do something. However, that's not the usage for that room. And if you do choose to do it, you keep it within the numbers of the hotel specifics. So it's 2 people, 4 people, 2 rooms at 4 people is 8 people, not 30 people, not 35 people, not bringing in a radio that's going to play loud music and disturb the other people in the halls. This is just hotel etiquette. And so we just want to make sure that we're very honest and given this information. Maybe you were not aware. And again, as Shanae Andre and working along with Escapes by Emerge, my travel company, that is exactly, the information that I give out. Information is key. This is what we want, so that, again, when you approach or you come to a hotel, your stay is wonderful. Any type of travel that you do, we want you to be informed. We want you to have the necessary information so that you have a fantastic stay. So I know that we're coming up into Friday. I know that it's we're getting to the point where children are getting ready to go back to school. We're doing some last minute celebrations. So I definitely wanted to make sure that we got this out before we got back into the school year. And just if you're wanting to have an event, contact the hotel and see what the cost is to actually have an event. And if not, then let's just make sure that we keep to the fire code standards of the rooms that are set. Contact the hotel directly, ask questions, get as much information as you possibly can. Information is key. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.